Good morning friends. Today we are going to discuss a topic about blow molding, which is also one of the technique used to produce the plastic components. What is blow molding? It is also known as blow forming. It is a type of manufacturing process which is used to produce hollow plastic parts. When compared to that of injection molding or transfer molding, in this type of blow molding, it is used to produce hollow plastic parts. Generally, blow molding is divided into three main types. One is extrusion blow molding, and then injection blow molding, and then stretch blow molding process. These are all some of the applications of blow molding process. The principle behind the blow molding process is the blow molding process begins with melting down the plastic and forming it into a parison or preform. What is parison? The parison is a tube-like piece of plastic with a hole in one end in which compressed air can pass through it. Again, this is some of the applications of blow molding process. Then the parison is then clamped into a mold and air is pumped into it. One difference between injection molding and blow molding process is, in injection molding, compressed air doesn't get passed through it, whereas in case of blow molding process, the compressed air is passed into the mold cavity to attain the final shape. That is the major difference between blow molding process and the injection molding process. Then the air pressure then pushes the plastic out to match the mold. Once the plastic has cooled and hardened, the mold opens up and the part is ejected. This is the diagram or example of the blow molding process. This is the mold cavity. This is the parison tube. From the core, the air gets blown up and the plastic part, liquid metal, gets expanded and attain the shape of the mold, and after it gets chewed or cooled, the final parts get ejected. This is the major principle behind the blow molding process. These are also some of the examples of the blow molding process: cans, fuel tanks, etc. This is another example which is used to produce the water bottle. Here, this is an extruder. After the liquid plastic materials gets melted, it gets injected. This is the parison part. This is the mold cavity. This is the stage 1 process. In stage 2, the compressed air gets into the mold cavity and the part attains the shape of the mold. After it gets cured, the molded part is ejected. This is one of the example of blow molding process. Next, we are going to discuss about the various types of blow molding process. First one is extrusion blow molding. As the name suggests, here the plastic metal is melted and get extruded into the hollow tube, that is a parison. This parison is then captured by closing it into a cooled metal mold. Then the air is then blown into the parison, inflating it into the shape of the hollow bottle, container or a pot. After the plastic metal has cooled sufficiently, the mold is opened and the part gets ejected. Okay. In case of extrusion molding, the plastic is melted and get extruded into the hollow tube. Next, this is an example of extrusion blow molding. In step 1 process, with the help of an extrusion die, the plastic metal, the red color is the plastic metal, it gets ejected, and this is known as parison. Step 2, air is blown into the mold cavity. Step 3. With the help of compressed air, the plastic metal attains the shape of the mold cavity. Step 4. After the plastic metal gets cured or cooled, that with the help of an ejector pin, the mold cavity is removed and the final part is ejected. In extrusion blow molding process, it consists of two types. One is continuous and another one is intermittent. As the name suggests, in continuous extrusion blow molding process, the parison is extruded continuously. Whereas in case of intermittent blow molding process, it is similar to that of injection molding, whereby the screw turns, then stops and pushes the melt out. Next we are going to discuss about the second type of blow molding process, that is injection blow molding process. The process of injection blow molding is which is used to production of alloy, glass and plastic objects in larger quantities. In this case, the polymer is first injected into the core pin and then the core pin is rotated to the blow molding station to get inflated and cooled. Already we discussed an injection molding in different topic. And again, these are all some of the examples of injection molding process. In injection molding process, it has three stages. First is injection and then blowing and then ejection of the part. In injection, it consists of an hooper through which the plastic metals get injected, and with the help of an heater, it gets plastic converted into liquid and then it gets injected into the molten cavity. After the mold cavity gets cured, the final part is ejected. The next type in blow molding process is stretch blow molding process. In this type, the preforms or parisons are packed and fed later into the preheat stretch blow molding machine. In this, the preforms are heated above their glass transition temperature, then blown using higher pressure into the bottles using metal blow molds. This is an example of a stretch molding process. First, it is preformed and then it is blown into the mold cavity, and then the compressed air gets blown and it attains the shape of the mold cavity, and then the part gets ejected. Next, we are going to discuss about the advantages of blow molding process. First one is low tool and die cost when compared to that of the other molding process, and it has faster production rates. Ability to mold different complex components can be produced with the help of blow molding process, and we can also produce recyclable parts. Limitations of blow molding process is only hollow parts can be produced with the help of blow molding process, and the wall thickness is hard to control. Again, in this we are going to discuss about the major difference between the three types of blow molding process. First, in case of extrusion blow molding process, plastic is first melted and then extruded with the help of extruder, and then it attains the final shape. Whereas in case of injection molding process, plastic or polymer is injected into the core pin, then the pin is rotated with the help of a screw by the blow molding machine until the plastic is inflated into the desired shape. Whereas in case of stretch molding machine, the plastic is first molded into preform using the injection molding process, and then only it gets injected into the mold cavity. This is the major difference between extrusion blow molding, injection blow molding process and a stretch molding machine process. These are all some of the applications of blow molding process. Thank you.